Once again, I'm Dr. Gomez Regalado, and we're going to see case number 7.
In this case, we're seeing a prostate of 105 grams. So right now we're going to start our enucleation. We look for these small holes that are made between the Verumontanum and the lateral lobes. There's like a constant. You, it's like a very frequent issue that you always see these small holes. You start making your enucleation, put it your fiber in 5 o'clock position, and we're gonna go backwards to expose this beautiful plane that we're seeing. This is one of the good thing of the big prostate, that they always have this beautiful plane that you can identify very easy. Then we have to move our fiber to 12 o'clock, and then we're gonna look for this line. It's a B line that we call it, and then we are going to go up. We don't perform white line, and in this cut we only I'm gonna cut the mucosa. We're trying to dive in that part because that's straight like apex fibers sometimes make you that you cannot go between the two lobes. So once we have our mucosa cut, we're going to start going up. It's very important to always have a reference and not try to not go backwards, because you can make some damage to your sphincter. But right now we make an early liberation of the sphincter, and then we continue in the lateral part, and then we're going to go up. If you see, we always make like this small steps backwards, and it will help you a lot. When you go up, sometimes the flush is not very good in that part, and you have to go horizontal and make your like mind plane. If we see here's this straight tissue that we have, there's straight fibers, we have to cut it. And if you we see this spectacular edge that we have right now, then we're going to cut it straight. Maybe we can go straight just like 2 o'clock, and then we're going to move our fiber to go for look the other holes from the other side with our fiber at 7 o'clock, and then go it's not to go that deeper, it's only uh it's a small difference, and you can see there's the beautiful plane. We have it there, and you have to make this movement. And we are not making mechanical dissection right now. In the only part, if you see, we that's the part we make like mechanical dissection, but this is the only part we made it. Then we identify this B that we're like marking there, and we're going to go up, trying to look for the other plane that we perform from the other side. And then you have free your sphincter, and you can make like very um, good enucleation without get worry about your sphincter, and without thinking that your patient will have any incontinence problem. So we're trying here to see to connect the planes. So you have to move, and then connect again. There's, if you see, there's a beautiful plane, and then go backwards, and we have to make a junction between both planes. Sometimes people tell us how you can identify when you're cutting like in the upper part of the apex, because it's like you see this like tissue that you have to cut. Sometimes you forget to cut because you try to um like to reach it in the front part, and you leave it there. But if you don't cut it, you will pull your sphincter, and then your patient will have some transient incontinence. So look, the planes we're performing there, and we have to cut these fibers from the apex, and you will see how you can reach from one side to the other side. But it's very important to work in this upper part, because if you leave it, or you move to other part without release it, you will have troubles to make a fast enucleation. So right now we're going to the lateral part, and we're going to start to freeze it. And then if you see, we're trying to make some coagulation from the laser, and it's very important to know which is the right distance between the lysis fibers and your adenoma. If you see, we make this small uh, back step, and it's very important to when you're teaching someone, to tell them that this backstep is really really important, and is really a small step going back, and you're going to see if you're really leaving tissue over there. Because if you're leaving tissue, you will not perform and really in block enucleation, because you're gonna leave tissue there. If you see, there's like another plane that you can go through the adenoma. That's why it's very important that you have to to go fast, but for go fast you have to go slow and identify very well your planes. Right now we're going to the upper part, and we have to connect with the other side. If you see, there's some adenomas that you we have in the roof part, and we're trying to cut it to make only one plane. You see, there's a basilar there. We're trying to go slow for make this very good coagulation with the 100 watts laser from Lumenis. And one of the parts, if you see the video from the start, we don't cut the Verumontanum in the initial part. We wait until we advance our lateral lobes, and then we cut it, because we think it's better for identify only one plane, and then you will go straight, and this will make you go faster. Also, we think this because we have our fellowships that they are learning, and then we point there with like our plane. We have to move there. If you see that these parts are like lifting, you have to move around from one side, or you have to cut it, because if you go like trying to pull it and go forward, you're going to make another plane. um Remember, like the prostate is like the onions, they have like a lot of planes. So we're very close to the bottom right now. We're going to, if you see, we go from the lateral part to the central part, lateral part to the central, and we're making a very nice enucleation. You have to see that your tissue gets this white, and then if you see a vessel that you can coagulate, you should coagulate in this moment. If the vessel you cannot coagulate, you have to move. See, you have to move, and you're going to go to the other side, and then when you're working in the other side, the adenoma will make some pressure to that vessel, and the bleeding will stop. Then we're making the left part of the screen, and then we're gonna go from the bottom to the center. It's really important to see there's some places that it's difficult to identify the plane because we have the prostatic pillars. We're gonna see these are the pillars from the bladder neck. See, when we're reaching that part, it's very easy to go from the side and make like a perforation. That's why we in this part you have to go carefully and to see where the prostate is like making this turn, because if you go straight, you're going to make a perforation. So that's why it's very important to go slowly in this part. I like to reach the bladder from the sides, because if you get it like in the from the upper part, there's one of the things that make like this technique a little bit more difficult is because you don't have like any reference to see if you're like making a good cut, or you're going straight to the trusor of the retsius space. So that's why I recommend when you're like making your first cases to try to enter from the sides until you get like more experience, and will have to identify where is exactly the bladder. So right now we're making this cut, and we're already there in the bladder. We see those vessels that are getting straight. So we have right now like the roof part very with a good dissection, but we have to mobilize and connect. You have to mobilize and connect, and we have to release very good the the prostate until we open the bladder. So remember, we don't do early liberalization of the Verumontanum. Right now in this part, we're gonna cut the verum. We don't move the laser fiber to the 6 o'clock, because sometimes when you use your 30 degrees scope, those 30 degrees make you enter to the ejaculatory ducts. So if you see we're cutting and you get the two reference between both planes, both sides, and it's easier to get it from one side and the other side, because this tissue, it's like really strong, and it's not a tissue you can the Verumontanum tissue is not a tissue you can enucleate. It's a tissue you have to cut. So sometimes they told me which is like the limit, you should stop until you get into the ejaculatory ducts. We're continue with the enucleation. If you see this part, you're getting in a beautiful plane, and you're going really fast. If you see a vessel, you stop, and then you go up, and you're going to try to connect the plane you have in the upper part for make a really good, neat and clear enucleation. There's a big vessel over there, so if you can coagulate, uh, you do it. But if not, don't lose time, because sometimes these vessels are pulling, and then it's very difficult to make the coagulation. So right now we're going to connect from the other part, from the upper part, and you see we have this beautiful plane, the upper part, and we have to go straight, and we're trying to make all the enucleation before we enter to the bladder. We're gonna see right now in this part, when if you see, we're going before we can go up there, but you can like go too deep and make a incision in the detritus, or in the rectum space. So one of the parts that sometimes where you're like new in this world of Holep, they don't tell you that you have to put your scope like a little bit down when you reach in that part, because it's very easy to go up, up, and then you open the trussel, you're going to see some fat over there, and you're gonna get like um so nervous, and you're gonna um start to trying to go faster. And then doing one of the things of Holep is to see where not to go. If you see fat, you don't have to go there. If you're like not sure where you are, it's the one of the good things to make this enucleation in block is you have another side. You can try to go to other side, and then we're opening the bladder. And then right now I change my I use my second pedal, and in this part I use 100 watts, and for the all other enucleation I do 63 watts. In this part I prefer to use 100 watts because your hemostasis will be better. I will try to coagulate these vessels if I can. If no, I will leave it there, and I will return um, after. Then I go for the plane, and I look from that part that it's like really one of, if you try to advance, one part will you'll seems to be like stuck, and then you cut. If you see, this is one of the one pilar, and you cut it. You don't enucleate this part. It's very important. We name these parts like relaxing capsule incisions, because if you see, we're trying to reach from the to the bladder, but this is one of the good things that you already have like identified your limits. You know where to go, how deep you have to go, and in this part it's very important to know that you have to cut. It's very difficult to make an enucleation in this part because it's really, you don't have a plane over there. Once you have your reaching to the bladder, we're trying to connect the lateral part with the bottom part, and you have to feel in your scope that you can move without any obstruction of difficulty, because if you cannot perform this movement, it's because you have some tissue that it's between your scope, and you that's why you can like make this movement. If you see this right now, I'm like cutting the capsule for making this relaxing cutting lines, and you have to be careful in this part, because remember, one of the thing is, if you have your UOs very close, you can make some damage when you're making this cut. So right now, in the same movement, we're trying to reach and make this cut from the bottom to the lateral part to reach from the bladder. And it's very important to see when you're making the liberation from this part, because sometimes you have tissue there and you leave it. So right now we're trying to go and find where is our limit from the bladder. If you see, the scope cannot go like that easy from that part, so we make these lateral incisions. If how deep you can go, it's really, you have to see that you're not like seeing some fat there. If there's no fat, you can cut the capsule, and then you liberate this part, and you will see where is your limit. Because once you identify where to cut, it's gonna be a really easy way to release the prostate. We don't make going the prostate into the bladder. We don't make that luxation, because we prefer to identify where to cut, and we make like a lateral move between the the two sides. We're now seeing where is our UO, and then you see this the distance that you have to cut. I prefer to not cutting too much the bladder neck, because I think that if you leave it there intact, your patient will not have this dysuria, and the bladder neck contraction will be really low rates. So you have to liberate this part. And it's a good thing to know when you have a patient where they have like a median lobe. You have to be careful in the part that you're reaching to the bladder, because in that part you get like a really good plane, and in this part you say, oh, I'm a really good enucleator. But the thing is, there's like no a real capsule. That's why you have like this spectacular movement. So right now we have to connect the planes between one side and the other side, and we have to work more our right side from the screen. But we have to make sure we release this bottom part, because one we have the lateral part, we only have to move between two sides, and we're going to make a really good cut. We're now finishing this side. We're making these cuts to make easy that you can move your scope between both sides. Because if you try to reach to the bladder, you're gonna feel a resistance. So sometimes you try to um, make a mechanical move and to win to that resistance, but you can open the capsule with that movement, and you're gonna see some fat there. So it's better to look where are the parts that you have to identify that your prostate, it's like um they have some tissue you have to cut. And then you see, right now we have it. We're now going to see the side. There is no tissue that have our prostate from the upper part. Then we return to the bottom of the prostate, and then we see where is our limit, and then we're going to start cutting in our horizontal part. If you see, you can identify very easy where the tissue make like this when you go forward, um this tissue gets this line that say it's better to identify where you have to cut it. Then we start going one side, another side, and it's better in this part to go closer to the adenoma, because remember, this part is really um really tiny. And we look for the UO, and then we make a slow movement backwards, and then we see where is that plane, and we're going to make a straight line, horizontal, side to side, to make this cut from the bladder. And as I was saying in the a few minutes before, that your it's better to cut your prostate inside, that making in that some videos you see there's like making some luxation from the adenoma, but it's more difficult to cut it inside the bladder, and you can make like some injury there. So this is a nice cutting, because you always will have like this reference between both sides, and if you see, you only cut what you have to cut. You don't make this trigonization, and you with this you will avoid your dysuria and the bladder neck contractions. So we're almost finished there. There's only a few tissue there, and if you see that mucosa is not like cutting, you have to cut it. And then we have there's like this small tissue that is pulling the adenoma, and we finish. It was really a good enucleation. We performed 105 grams in only 27 minutes. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we see you next time. We'll now see the sphincter. It's really, really a good sphincter preservation, and your patient will have a will not have incontinence in the when you take out the catheter. Thank you very much. See you soon. I hope you enjoy it.